Hey guys, it's Vintage Vinny, and welcome to my first thrift haul since quarantine. Found some pretty good stuff, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you all. Stay tuned! Before we start this haul video, there is something that I did want to talk to you all about. As mentioned in the title of this video, honesty is the best policy. I had visited one of the local vendor malls in town, and I hadn't been out for 2 months, obviously, because of the quarantine. And I bought a bunch of stuff that I really liked. And I got home and I looked at my receipt, and something just didn't look right to me. It looked like I had not been charged for something because it should have been a whole lot more. So a few days ago, I go back to that vendor mall and I let the cashier know, hey, look, here's everything I got. And of course, I brought everything that I possibly could with me. Showed her the receipt, and I tried to help her figure out what was going on. So apparently, I had bought multiple items from one vendor. So I guess when he was typing in the vendor's information, he forgot to put like quantity of 3. So I bought those 3 magazines, or these 3 magazines that you're going to see later on in this haul, for $2 a piece, and he only rung up for one of them, so I got charged $2 for 3 magazines, which was the reason why the transaction was so cheap. So I wound up going back to the mall, telling the cashier what happened, and then I got charged for the 2 items that I did not get charged for. I didn't feel right just leaving it be. I mean, some people would probably just be like, okay, it's only a couple of dollars, no big deal. But in these times especially, catching those mistakes and going back and doing the right thing is really important, because even though that was only $4, that's still $4 that somebody else could use in their pocket right now. So it's really, really important to own up in these kinds of situations, and in any situation really, but especially when it comes to somebody who sells in a vendor mall. Like I said, it may have only been $4, but that $4 that person lost could have gone to a payment of some sort, or could have been going to put food on the table. Things like that. So when you notice an error and you can think clearly and honestly, do the right thing. That's pretty much what that boils down to. I hope you all subscribe to Reclaim Treasures by Mary so you can get notifications when she does live sales. If you aren't subscribed to her, I will link her down below in the description box. Since this is going up after her most recent live sale, I did help her with it because the person that was supposed to help her unfortunately couldn't make it. And it was a good thing because so many people have helped me with my live sales, so I felt it was my time to give back in terms of helping someone keep track, because I've never done it before. So it'll be a new experience for me, or I should say it was a new experience for me because this is going up after I've done it. So yeah, that was fun, and again, please check out Mary's channel. Link is in the description again. So let's go ahead and jump right into this haul. Running with finding vintage 70s Coke trays for Chapter 2 Vintage Co.'s daughter. The very first thrift trip I took, I found one of these trays from the 1970s featuring the 1923 Duster Flapper Girl. I spent... just hit the wall there. It's like they almost didn't know I would figure out how much it cost. They stamped it so many times. Originally, this came from a Goodwill, and I think it was like $1.71, and then they charged $3.50, which is fine. I don't mind supporting my local Salvation Army because their prices are very, very reasonable. The only problem with it is trying to get that Goodwill sticker off. It's probably going to take a lot of Goo Gone and possibly maybe some sticky... I can't put nail polish remover in here because that'll take the paint off, but I'll figure out some way to do it, or I'll just let Chapter 2 Vintage Co.'s daughter take care of it. It's got some marks and paint loss on it, but you know what? She's gonna love it either way, and I'm sure she'll put it to great use. So for the $3.50 that I spent, I think she will have a grandiose time with this. So I'm sharing with you all my first haul since quarantine from the thrift stores, so I'm really excited about that. Only two of them in town are open, the charity thrift store and then my Salvation Army, which is perfectly fine because I've been finding some pretty good stuff there anyway. So let's go ahead and get started. This was the very first thing that I found when I was at my charity thrift store. This is an Amish butter print, I don't even know what this is, mini casserole dish. It has the lid. Now the lid doesn't have any cracks or chips, but it is rather dirty, so I'm gonna have to clean that up. Initially, I wasn't gonna buy it, but look at how nice the color is on it. And there's the Pyrex stamp on the bottom there. Now the color is in really good shape, but there is, I guess maybe it was dinged on a countertop or something. At first I thought it was just a manufacturer flaw, but then when you feel it, or maybe it is, I don't know. It almost does look like a chip, but then again it almost doesn't either. Let me see if I can focus on that for you. Even if it is a chip, it doesn't really bother me because this to me says that somebody really loved it and they either used it or not, but I can always turn it the other way and if I want to display it, and you're not even going to see the flaw. So for $5, I went ahead and took that because I visited a vendor mall, flea market, antique shop, and a vendor who has a ton of this kind of stuff has these, and I think she has them for like $25 or $30. So to pay $5 even with the flaw, that's perfectly okay with me. From that same shop, I found this, and I thought it was just super cool, and I could definitely see that it had some age to it. It's a cottage cheese tub. It's made of ceramic. The lid is cracked, as you can see, and it has been either re-glued or it just never, like, broke all the way through. But yeah, it's got a cow on top. And the cow is in good shape, nothing wrong with that. Or nothing wrong with the little figure here. And here is the tub itself. It has cottage cheese written in cursive with floral arrangements, or just flowers in a meadow or a field all around. It was 75 cents. It does have a foiled Japan sticker on it. Usually when I see this, I think of Joseph Original because that's the label they use on their stuff. This is by Lori Design. I don't know if that's older or not. But yeah, I kind of couldn't resist that. And because I hadn't been out in so long, I went ahead and just picked it up for 75 cents. If I decide not to keep this, I possibly will be putting this in a live sale. So yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. It's down gently. So this was really cool, and like I mentioned in my last video, Real Old Smokey, if you're not watching him, or if you don't know who he is, he does the show Eating History on the History Channel with Josh McCouga, a podcast content creator, and they eat and drink foods from meals ready to eat, which were very common in the militaries, because they're always out on the fields and you can't just go and sit down in a mess hall and eat, so you got to take these with you. And yeah, so what they do is, like I said, they try old foods from years ago and they drink beverages from years ago. And while I don't really watch that kind of stuff, I have no problem supporting him, especially because he and my dad are in contact a lot. Old Smokey, anyway. So I found this bottle of 7-Up. It is full. It does say $8 on it, and I don't think I would have spent the $8. I think it was 30% off, so I only spent $4.20 on it. And the bottle itself is in good shape. I don't know how old it is exactly, but I think it is probably, it could be 40s, 50s, or 60s. No, maybe it's probably 50s or 60s, judging by the logo here. But there's the bottle, or the bottom of the bottle, and this was, I guess, produced in Hackensack, New Jersey. So that's going to be sent off to Smokey, hopefully by the time you all see this. Again, his channel will be linked down below so you guys can watch if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So I picked this up for $1.50. It's a Mego doll. It almost looks like Barbara Eden to me, or it could be Sandra Dee. I will insert the actual doll's name, hopefully, right here. Hopefully it'll show up if I can figure out who it is. Usually when I see vintage dolls like this and I see the name Mego on it, or I see like it's a vintage Barbie, I will just go ahead and pick it up because it'll give me some time to do some research instead of leaving it there and then possibly somebody else coming in and taking it. So I buy them cheap, and if they're not worth a lot of money, I'll either throw them in the live sale or possibly an auction box. I don't know. But here, her outfit is very, like, almost something maybe Liberace would have worn. Because you know how flamboyant he was. And not that there's anything wrong with that. That's who he was. And that's how he was able to express his sexuality at the time. So anyway, here we go. So there we have the Mego Corp. I wish it would focus better. Here we go. Mego Corp MCML XX. I think that's 19... I'll put it in the video if I figure that out. But yeah, Mego Corp that year, and then Hong Kong. She definitely does have... She looks like Barbara Eden or like Twiggy, something like that. Like I said, I will mention who she is along with that year when I edit the video. So this is the non-vintage item, but they are really, really hard to get right now. For whatever reason, I think I found the last pack of Clorox disinfecting wipes at this vendor mall. The same place I bought the 7-Up bottle. And the vendor was only asking $1.50, and I think maybe somebody may have used a couple of them. I'm not really bothered by it too much because $1.50, I did manage to get 2 containers of these at Walmart one day, and they were $2.64, which is still a very good price. However, if you look on eBay, people are literally selling these for hundreds of dollars. Not this one specifically, but like the 3-packs and the 4-packs that you can get at like Sam's Club or even sometimes at Walmart. This is really desirable right now. I mean, not to suggest that you should resell these, and we're not going to. Obviously, I love Clorox wipes. I disinfect them with everything. So these are for us to use. And I might not use them right away because I don't want to run out and then have to go panic-stricken because I can't find them. So this was really, really cool. I only paid $1 for it. It has a Howard's, I guess maybe that was a small store or something back in the day, for 35 cents, and Howard's was, at least this one, was in Hummelstown, PA. It's plastic modeling clay, but I only bought it for the box because the box itself has incredible graphics and images on it. Let's see if I can take that off without ruining it. So here is the tag for Howard's. I don't know if that was a craft store back in the day or if that was just some mom and pop shop. But I just thought this was really, really cool, and I don't think it was ever opened. Must have just sat in somebody's craft drawer for years or something. And I'm hoping these are in there. Oh, you have to cut these out, so this whole box is intact. I just thought that was really, really cool. Like, you don't see packaging like this anymore. For $1, I mean, even if I decide to sell it or give it to somebody, they will enjoy this a lot. Again, this isn't really considered vintage, but it's from my childhood, so I guess you could say, well, my childhood was late 90s into the early 2000s. For $1, I got this at the one charity shop. It's Avril Lavigne's Under My Skin CD. I have been wanting to buy this for a long time off eBay, and while I could get it cheap, I was pleasantly surprised to see it at the Thrift because usually when you're looking for something and you don't have it on your mind, you find it. So I was really, really happy to get this. My favorite songs on this album are Together, My Happy Ending, Slipped Away is very good. That's about her grandfather when he was passing away. So that helped me get through a couple of the deaths that I dealt with. Nobody's Home is really good. Fall to Pieces is very good too. She did another album that I want to eventually find, and it has the song Skater Boy on it. I remember, if anybody of my generation is on here and watches this, the hit clips, they were a little square, like computer chip kind of a thing. And you would put it into this player, like this fun looking player, and it would play clips of a song. And that's how I got into the Beach Boys, that's how I got into the Beatles, that's how I got into Queen. All of those artists I listened to from hit clips, and then when I got an iPod, I went ahead and wanted to buy those songs off of iTunes, and that's what I did. And then, as technology advanced over the years, I no longer had the iPod, I actually sold it. And then with the introduction of Android smartphones, they had a lot of different music apps that you could download at the time, all of the songs that you wanted, and now things are a lot different. But yeah, that's how I got into all of those old songs, and that's how I started liking them to this day, even with my uncle being a classic music buff. So we're going to get into some vintage media, and I did talk about this before I started the haul, about what happened. So, yeah, I just didn't feel that it was right, even though it was only a couple of dollars, that it was a mistake on their part, but I just felt that the best thing for me to do is to go there and actually pay for what was not properly submitted through the transaction. So it just didn't feel right leaving it alone, because that was somebody else's money that then they wouldn't have gotten, they wouldn't have gotten their pay for that. They lost money, and had I not gone back, I would have basically gotten these magazines for free. But honesty is the best policy, as I stated in the beginning of this video, and as the title also. So this was really, really cool. This is, I think, a Victorian postcard. I only paid $2.50 for it. I just really, really liked the image of the colonial-looking kid with the firecracker. Something about some of these older postcards from the Victorian era are very, very cool. I wasn't really into Edwardian stuff, because when I think of Edwardian and Victorian, I think of flowers and bonnets and lace, and that's just not the kind of stuff that I'm into. This is the exception to that, because I love the images of it, and it's just really, really cool looking. I also did get some magazines. You guys know how much I love flipping through those. So I found a copy of Movie Stars TV Close-Ups Parade. This has Pat Boone on the front of it, also Dick Clark, Elvis Presley, Ricky Nelson, and Jimmy Rogers. This is from August of '58. See if I can flip through some of this real quick. Not showing you all the pages real well. Again, just some really neat, interesting stuff. This is great. It's an ad for one of the movies Jerry Lewis did, Rockabye Baby. That man was hilarious. So yeah, that's really, really cool. I love flipping through these. By the way, each of these magazines cost me $2. This next one is Radio Stars, and I think this is... Oh no, this isn't Rudy Valley on the front of it. This is Nino Martini, and the art was done by Earl Christie. This is from March of 1937? I thought it was older. I thought it was from like 1941. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. But yeah, this is what the front cover looks like. Very neatly done. I love this. This was also $2. I love this ad for Irresistible Products. Look at that pretty girl right there. That just is awesome. And is this anybody in particular? I don't see. But yeah, very, very cool. And like I said, you just don't get art like this anymore. And here's Barbara Stanwyck. in a very, I guess, racy for the time dress. And here she is with Bob Taylor. Don't know who he is, but I'm sure I'll look him up after I'm done with this. Like, look at this. This is why I can't resist these magazines. Even though they don't hold much value, they just share some of the most incredible photographs. So yeah, that's Radio Stars. Here is a movie story magazine, and this one is from 1941, so I must have gotten those mixed up here. But here's the front cover. It's Joan Fontaine and Cary Grant in the movie Before the Fact. I love this picture of Jimmy Cagney with Bette Davis. Here's an ad for the movie The Great American Broadcast with Alice Faye, John Payne, and Jack Oakey. Here's some pictures of Ann Sheridan. Like I said, this kind of stuff is just so cool to look through. It's like a time capsule. And the last magazine is from 1952. It's called Today's Woman. 50 cakes easy to make. If I see something really interesting, I'll, oh, look at this. Well, here's Liz. And look at the ad for that. It's for Thrift. Like I said, I don't care if these are meant for women or if they're a man's magazine. I love flipping through them and just looking at the old ads. Just kind of pin-up-y type stuff. The Flickering Flame. As Misty would say, that's very, very saucy. But yeah, just looking through stuff like this, it really just makes you look back at the times and how things were, and it really is just a great look at our history. Now, the last thing I would like to share with you all, and there's a ton of them in here, so I don't even have to share them all with you. For 50 cents a piece, I got Jen and her sister Kim a bunch of these zippers. They're pretty much all the same name brand. I got 35 of them, and at 50 cents a piece, that cost me $17.50. She can always use these. I know she's making purses and other things, and I don't know if her booth is open right now up in Ohio. I think they might still be on lockdown, but I could be wrong. But yeah, 35 zippers for $17.50. That's a steal. I'll show you the bag real quick. Yeah, crazy, right? So yeah, that is everything I would like to share with you all in this video. So that's all I have for you today. Be sure and give this video a big thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell next to the subscribe button if you'd like to know when new videos are posted. All of the links to my social media accounts via Instagram are down below as well, where you will see pictures of items to come in future haul videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye guys!